Whatever you're into when it comes to sports, you can find it right here. Now, play my intro. Now it's time for the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Robb Johnson Sports Show, episode 127. 127. Yep, 127 episodes. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow with episode 128. Don't really have any tickers for you all today. We're just going to talk, supposed to have a guest on today. They may still come on, but if not, I'll try to get them on next time. Talk some NFL. But mainly today, what we need to discuss is a few things. First, let's start with Kayla McBride. 10 3-pointers in her game yesterday. Was able to get another win for the Minnesota Lynx. They're now 27-7, not 22-7. Like I think someone on ESPN said this morning. Yeah, they're 27-7. Really good basketball team right now. Doing a lot of good things. A lot of controversy about the Las Vegas Aces not playing yesterday, their main stars. Well, reason for that, because the Aces are a little bit of an older team. The back-to-back, especially the time they had the back-to-back, it's very, very understandable. You don't want to have that too much, especially with some of your marquee teams like the Aces. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, the coach knows her players. The coach knows what they need to do. And speaking of Minnesota, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. They won 5 straight. So they're out here dominating folks. Absolutely dominating folks. So it's something you got to love if you're the WNBA right now. Having Minnesota back where they belong at the top of the throne. Keisha Collier coming back. She's healthy. That team is looking good. Really, really good. So, that's a team that you got to respect, and you better respect, because they are going to challenge Las Vegas. Now, if there are any other teams who it's been one of them days, man. It's been one of them days, man. You just keep getting news. You just keep getting news. Damn. Man, that sucks. But yeah. If you're the WNBA, you are very happy to have this team back to where they were years back when Maya Moore was there, when they were dominating. When I at one time looked at them and called them the Warriors of the WNBA. And the reason I said that is just simply put, because, man, the way they used to run their offense, the way their offense was ran, the way that they commanded the basketball floor was just something special. So we'll definitely see that. We have a few games today. I know that the Dream play the Tempo. That's an 8:00 tip. So that should be a good basketball game on tap. Let's get to the Washington Commanders. Now, and the reason I want to talk to Washington Commanders is not just because of the Larry Tunsil injury. It's because of some of the I'm not going to say the ignorance coming out of some networks, but I saw today they posed a question, and it's a good question. I mean, it's a decent question, but it's a stupid question at the same time. Is this a make or break year for Jaden Daniels to be a franchise quarterback? Why do we keep putting limits on certain quarterbacks and say this is their last time being a franchise quarterback? Why do we do this to certain quarterbacks? You all know what I'm saying without me saying it. There's certain things that I don't need to say out my mouth, but you already know what I'm saying. Why are so many certain players limited? They've got to perform right out the gate, or they're on a time limit. And we've seen this before, especially in Washington. We've seen this with RG3. We can't start putting in people's minds, oh, man, we're going to turn on Jaden Daniels. No. Jaden Daniels is a really good young quarterback. Allow Jaden Daniels to have time to grow. Allow Jaden Daniels time to become that quarterback that we all know that he can be. Do not stop with the is he a franchise quarterback or not? Because then it's gonna start putting in some folks' minds that he had one good season. They're gonna start doing the lazy CJ Stroud comparisons, even though CJ Stroud doesn't get the same excuses that that Justin Herbert gets talking about. Oh, it's offensive line. He doesn't have the weapons. He got to the second round of playoffs last year. Okay, you're missing three top receivers, two wide receivers. One was out for the season. Another one got hurt the week before, and then their tight end got hurt halfway through the game. And the Texans still had a chance to win the game, but the Patriots defense was really, really good. That's a really good Texans defense. This is a really good Houston Texans defense, and I believe the offense can get together this year, especially with some of their weapons coming back. Getting back to Washington, Laramie Tunsil. This man, right now, is 32 years old. He just turned 32. But you guys remember Laramie Tunsil, right? Got drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Remember he fell in the draft because he hit the bong? Is that what happened? He hit the bong, right? He hit the bong, and everybody was like, oh, we got to drop him, and it's going to hurt his NFL career. Could he slide to the 5th round? Could he go undrafted? He's being called one of the best leaders right now for the Washington Commanders. Why is that? This is why you cannot judge a book by its cover. This is why you cannot judge people off everything that you see on social media. ESPN, yeah, I'm calling ESPN out. ESPN, these blogs tried to bury this young man. They tried to bury him. And now he's considered one of the better leaders in the Washington Commanders organization. He's considered a brother amongst the other brothers in the Washington Commanders front office and then their locker room. They tried to bury Laramie Tunsil. And what did Laramie Tunsil do? He came back. He became an all-pro, became a Pro Bowler, became a really good player, become a great player, actually. If he can have a good run with Washington, who knows? He could have Hall of Fame status. If he can get this team, when he comes back from injury, if he can do, it's almost just like you look at him and you look at how Washington lost their franchise left tackle to the 49ers. This could be something where he comes over, dominates, does good things, make sure Jaden Daniels stays healthy. Because Jaden Daniels, ladies and gentlemen, has not been able to stay healthy over the last couple of years. Yes, took him to the NFC Championship game, but at the same time, there were times when Jaden Daniels could not stay healthy his first year. Even though he was healthy, he wasn't healthy, if you know what I'm saying. Because a lot of times some guys will play, and girls who play football, because there are women who play football too. Breaking news for y'all who don't know. There are players out there, ladies and gentlemen, who will definitely play hurt. They will definitely play outside their means because they love the game so daggone much. And Jaden Daniels is the type of guy who loves football, man. He loves football. Bottom line, he loves football. And the thing about him is that last year he didn't want to go out. He didn't want to have to stop playing. But he had to because, of course, he had that really bad injury. And, the coaches didn't want him to come back or do anything like that. And I look at Daniels and I say to myself, if he doesn't do it in Washington, he's going to do it somewhere else. So for all you Washington Commanders fans out there who are starting to get the inclination, starting to get the idea that you're going to start to turn on a guy like Jaden Daniels, just don't do it. It ain't worth it. He's going to do something. He's going to do great things in his NFL career. He's going to do things for his NFL career. Oh, before we go anywhere, before we finish talking about that, we have some breaking news. That breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, the Dallas Cowboys have extended defensive tackle who came over, star defensive tackle from the New York Jets. Quinn Williams has signed a 3-year, $101 million contract with $63.35 million fully guaranteed. He is now signed through the 2030 season. He's 28 years old, and that locks him up with the Dallas Cowboys up until 2030. Now, with this signing, we gotta look at the numbers too, because what I'm hearing is that this signing will actually help the Cowboys pick up another defensive player if they want to extend Pickens. If they want to do anything else in free agency, they can definitely do it, because this right here will help them. As I'm looking at the updated cap numbers right now, the Cowboys have about still about five, almost close to $5.5 million in cap space. That could help them with a trade. That could help them do some things. The team with the highest cap space right now are the San Francisco 49ers with just over $68 million in cap space. We go to 2027, looking at the cap space. If my phone will stop tripping right now, I don't know why they're asking me these things. I don't care. Your phone asks you these things. Like, I don't care. The Cardinals, oh my God. My Jesus. The Cardinals going into next year have cap space numbers of almost $120 million. Next, the Falcons with 101, the Dolphins with 88 million, the Rams, Jesus Christ. So the Rams next year right now have almost 80 million in cap space. But then again, you have to look at that too. You never know. A contract can be had, a player can get signed, etc. But look at you got to re-sign players as well. So that's not really, the biggest number in the world. Right now, the team with the biggest gap going to next year, the Baltimore Ravens, with a cap hit of right now, they're in the red of 49 million. Texas 35, 49ers 35. So you see how fast that can change, folks. See how fast that can change with your cap space and your cap numbers and all that. I mean, all that stuff can change very quickly. Even looking at to 2028, getting a good barometer of that. The 49ers right now in 2028 are looking at a cap hit of all in the red of $20 million. The Cowboys in 2028 have a plus surplus, have a plus of $88 million. So yes, next year they'll be $15 million in the hole, and then by 2028 they'll have a bigger number. But I say that to say this: good signing by the Cowboys. Make sure they have Quentin Williams in the system. Make sure they have him there so that they can have him for the next couple of years. But going back to the Commanders, Laremy Tunsil is going to be critical. Now, here's the thing. Brandon Coleman, who's been there, who's played, he's going to step up. He's going to have to step up and step in. Now, this is another reason, ladies and gentlemen, that preseason football is so important, because that same guy that you spot, see, not everybody has the same eye. And if Washington has come and progressed as much as we think, as much as they say they have, they will identify a left tackle just in case because Brandon Coleman's going to have to play in the preseason. He's going to have to get reps. I understand that you don't want a lot of your starters to play, but for Brandon Coleman, you actually want to see Brandon Coleman go against some of the ones, some of the twos, hell, some of the threes, because that'll give you a barometer and you'll know what he's all about. Because see, again, preseason football is looked at by a lot of people as being, oh, it's not important because you can't gamble on it. You can't do this. You can't do that. It doesn't matter. Yes, the results do not matter. The results do not matter. But what does matter is what happens during the process. Brandon Coleman, 25 years old. He's 25. He's still a young guy. I mean, you still don't want to burn the guy. You still don't want to burn the guy through the ground. But at the same time, he's the type of player that he's young. He won't be 26 until October the 12th. And actually, here's the funny thing. He was actually born in Newport News, Virginia. 6'6", 320. He actually went to school in Texas, played at TCU, was a third-round pick. So we're not talking about an undrafted free agent here. We're not talking about a guy who is not going to be able to handle the pressure. He played at TCU, he played at Texas Christian University, a really good school that has a really good tradition. If you guys don't know, a team that played in the national championship. Yeah, they got destroyed and beat down and cut down by Georgia, but at the same time, they still got to the national championship game. They still beat Michigan. They still got past the Michigan Wolverines to get to the national championship game. So at the end of the day, they're still a damn good football team and a damn good a brand when it comes to college football. So he comes from a good school, third round pick for an offensive lineman, to me is almost in a way a late first round to second round pick, because a lot of offensive linemen sometimes will get passed over if they're not considered generational things like that, So Brandon Coleman's got to step up. And the thing is here's the facts, folks. Brandon Coleman shows out. Not only does that help him, you bring Laramie Tunsil back. Guess what? You could possibly use Brandon Coleman. You could use Brandon Coleman in a trade possibility. Get some nice compensation next offseason. Or he's 25 years old. Laramie Tunsil's not gonna be there forever. And it would be debatable if he would get another contract, especially being 32 years of age, be 33 next year. They could keep him around. Who knows? He could be the backup. He could move to right tackle. They need him to play because a lot of times you may need your left and right tackle to shift. It's a little bit of adjustment, but you can get those guys to shift. But you can use him for situations if there's anything that goes wrong with your starter. So I think this is a golden opportunity, not just a good opportunity, a golden opportunity for this young man. And I really feel like that he is going to take advantage of this opportunity. He has to. Give me 1 second, folks. He has to take advantage of this opportunity because if he doesn't, then Jaden Daniels is going to be toast in this. And their first 10 games, have you looked at the Commanders' first 10 games? It's crazy. So they're going to need him. We're going to go to a commercial real quick for Latoris. Latoris, it starts from within.
Hey, I'm up here in the whirly bird, hovering over the positive total.
You sleep? Come on, let's go. We gotta go.
All right, everybody. As you see, the tour starts from within. Make sure October 5th, make sure that you are registering now. Go to www.birdease.com/Latoris. Again, that is www.birdease.com/Latoris. October 5th, golf tournament be held in Williamsburg, Virginia. Start time 10 a.m. Registration from 9 a.m. $145 individual, $540 for a full team. It's going to be a spectacular event. Make sure you guys are checking out this event. Make sure you are signing up at BirdEase, www.birdease.com/Latoris. Latoris, ladies and gentlemen, it starts from within. So, what we're going to talk about next is simply, when you're looking at the NFL right now, we're getting closer and closer to the regular season. I mentioned this earlier about preseason. It's going to be some really good preseason games out there, especially when you're talking about races. When you talk about especially the Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, I cannot emphasize to you just how big and how important those quarterbacks playing is going to be for their future with that football team. J.J. McCarthy, you want to win the job? Do your thing. Kyler Murray, you want to win? Do your thing. And let me talk about some of the people online talking about these quarterbacks struggling. This Minnesota Vikings defense is so damn good. It's so good. And it's good to the point of you're going to struggle against them in practice. You're going to have issues against them in practice. But just remember again, when you have Jawan Jennings, who just came over from the 49ers, they could really use him right now, couldn't they? Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Now to mention Hawkinson at the tight end position. This is a really good Minnesota Vikings, and you still got the running game. This is a really good Minnesota Vikings football team, offense and defense. They're going to come out guns blazing. This could be a really good offense. I believe it's going to be a great offense. A lot of people laugh at me when I talk about the Kyler Murray effect. I think he's going to take this offense. I think that when you look at the head coach, when you look at just what they did last year, winning 9 games when they had no business winning 9 games, this team is going to really – they should have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. They were in that game until Carson Wentz screwed up, until A.J. Brown decided to take over at the end. This is a good football team, man. It's a really good football team coming out of NFC North. The Lions have offensive line questions. The Lions have questions at so many levels. We're starting to see that regression with the Lions again, I believe. Not to the point where they're unwatchable on Thanksgiving, but they got to make sure they don't slip back into that mediocrity. The Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, highly, highly, highly underrated, highly disrespected. But you lost Wicks and you lost Romeo Dobbs. Okay? Those guys got to stay healthy. Those receivers, specifically, you know what I'm talking to. You got to stay healthy. Because if you don't stay healthy, it might be a long season for that offense. The defense has got to get stronger again. Michael Parsons is not going to be there for maybe 5 or 6 games. So if Packers really want to get back to where they are, they got to make sure that they're playing competitive football and the offense is stable. The biggest question in this division, I feel like, are Chicago Bears. Do they get hot? Do they go higher, or do they regress? Does losing Eric Bieniemy take some toughness away? We don't know. I do know this. Caleb Williams has lost between 12 to 20 pounds. I would say more of the 12 to 15 pound range. He looks quicker. I heard this from Colin. I have to give Colin Cowherd this credit because I heard it this morning. We said that this morning his top speed clock last year was 21 miles an hour. They say that his arm looks better. Luther Burden being hurt does not help Chicago right now because he had a little bit of an injury. I think Roma Dunze should be healthy. I'm not going to say he's injured, but I think I got some bad information which said Roma Dunze. Now I think it was Luther Burden. Losing DJ Moore is going to hurt, but you still got Cole Kmet, and I'm a big Cole Kmet fan. You guys know that I love tight ends. I think tight end play is very, very critical in the National Football League. The Bears, and I'm not going to be this drastic, but to me, the Bears either drop off the 3 tiers. They either drop off completely and win between 6 to 9 games. They either make the NFC Championship game or they go to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any other way. The Bears were very competitive last year in that NFC divisional series, in the NFC divisional round. They beat the Packers. They come back. They're very competitive. They nearly win their second playoff game. Man, I'm telling you now, the NFC North is going to be a beast. The NFC North is going to be a beast. The West used to be something that you would just behold because you had the 49ers, the Rams. You had the 49ers, you had the Rams, you had the Cardinals. All these teams were just so daggone dominant. And even the Cardinals were an issue. But now you got to look at the NFC North. The NFC North is that division that, well, yeah, actually, you know what? I can't really call it that because, and the reason I didn't mention Seattle was because, again, Seattle has been one of the most disrespected Super Bowl champions I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen a lot of disrespected champions. Hell, I can look at Indiana and say they're disrespected, but no team is more disrespected than the Seattle Seahawks. That team last year's defense was so daggone good. They dominated the Patriots, dominated them. And I'm going to tell you this. I hear all this talk about the Rams. Look, man, you're going to have to go through Seattle. You're going to have to go through Seattle. And yes, they lost their starting running back, the MVP Mr. Walker, they lost their MVP, but guess what? That running back coming out of Notre Dame, he's going to be really good. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Seattle is going to have something to say. That defense is going to have something to say. So don't forget about the Seattle Seahawks. That's all I'm going to say. But also, the NFC North, both divisions I feel like are going to be the juggernauts of the National Football League this year. But again, the South is going to be so many injuries right now in the South. I mean, it kind of sucks what's going on in the NFC South right now. The NFC East will not be far behind. When you got the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Giants are going to be better. It's just going to be all about mindset and can Mr. Harbaugh not blow leads. And the Commanders, if they can, especially in their first 10 games, if they go 500 or win 6 games in their first 4 to 6 wins in those first 10 games, which is a gauntlet for the Commanders. If they come out that with that type of record or better, and you get a Laramie Tunsil back possibly, and Jane Daniels looks like an MVP again, that division's a problem. That division is a serious, serious problem. So right now, I have to put the NFC North, the NFC West tied at 1. They're by far tied at 1, the best divisions in the National Football League. The NFC East, number 2, and number 3, the NFC South. But I'm going to tell you this again, when it comes to NFC South, don't be shocked if one of their teams comes out and challenge somebody in the first round of playoffs, because that's what they do. That's what the NFC South usually does. They're a tough group. They know each other very well. If I had to pick a team that I thought that could emerge from that division, I was saying the Saints, but man, the Saints had so many injuries. They've had some injuries, and I got to reevaluate the New Orleans Saints coming before the NFL season. But the Atlanta Falcons, people keep saying they don't have a quarterback. Look, Tua, before he got hurt, having issues, concussions, blah, 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 that man was out there throwing for 30 touchdowns and almost 4,000, 5,000 yards. With that receiving core the Atlanta Falcons have and that defense, if they get any semblance of anything from Tua from 3 years ago, which I think he can still be because he's motivated, look out for the Atlanta Falcons. Look out for the Atlanta Falcons. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, folks, so far we've talked a few topics here on NFL, talked a little WNBA. Now, let's talk about this weekend. There are a lot, and there'll be more series I talk about tomorrow. But right now, my eyes are glued on one series. That's this weekend, the Milwaukee Brewers against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Jacob Mizorowski is the next Randy Johnson in my eyes. I don't care what anybody wants to say. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about must-see TV? We are in an era right now where we got Paul Skeens and we have Jacob Mizorowski. And not even to mention some of the other great pitchers we have in Major League Baseball right now. I feel like baseball's resurgence is so beautiful. I feel like baseball's resurgence is just the greatest thing because it is such a great sport. Now, with all that being said, we possibly have the chance of a lockout next offseason. And I'm just like, great. Just great, right? Because this baseball is picking up momentum. You have people saying that baseball is not interesting because the Dodgers and because of their roster. The Dodgers are old, and the Dodgers are struggling right now. There are a lot of good teams in the National League, folks. The American League is picking up as well, but you got a lot of good teams in the NL. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Trust and believe me when I tell you that. Every dynasty has their bump in the road. You remember the Yankees in 1997 when they lost to Cleveland. And Cleveland was a damn good baseball team. They lost to 7 games to the then Florida Marlins, who are now the Miami Marlins. For those out there who are not old enough to remember, the Miami Marlins used to be the Florida Marlins. It's going to be one of the more interesting series, and the reason I said it is simply this. And I don't know if we're going to get it or not. We got to get Scooble versus Jacob Mizorowski. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want that to be the Friday night game. I want that to be the Saturday night game on Fox. I want that to be the showcase game. I want America. Of course, and here's the thing. You got preseason football. You know, people go, oh, preseason football. If we get School versus Jacob Mizorowski, I'm telling you, man, that's going to be a great game to watch. And this series is important for two reasons. Number one, if the Dodgers come out and they win this series, it's going to be like, look, we've been playing games with y'all. We're still the best team in Major League Baseball. You know, we can turn on when we want to. If the Brewers win, the Brewers not only have to win this series, they got to dominate the Dodgers. They got to come out and they got to hit. They got to pitch. I don't know that, oh, that's so generic, hitting and pitching. No, I'm talking about dominant pitching. I'm talking about striking folks out to the point where you're flirting around with no hitters. I'm talking about home runs that demoralize the other team's pitching staff. The Milwaukee Brewers need to send a message to the Los Angeles Dodgers and baseball this weekend. We are the Milwaukee Brewers. We are here to kick some ass, and we are here to win a championship. We are here to change the narrative. That's what we need to see this weekend from the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's get to the final word. All right, final word, everybody. All I can say is, listen, in a world full of social media, full of pressure, just keep being you, keep being yourself. Life is short. Love it, live it, have fun, and just keep doing what you do every day to be the best version of yourself you can be. That's all I got. I'll see y'all tomorrow for episode 128 of Robb Johnson Sports Show.
It's caught in the crossfire.